What's good people, and welcome back to the channel here on Kruboy Productions. My name is BK, and this is the Silly, Nerdy, and Wordy Podcast, episode number 85. The Dark Knight review. My nerdy review as I'm continuing my nerdy rewatch on some older Blu-ray reviews. And so that is where this and all the information I'm talking about today is coming from as I'm looking at older films, whether it's Harry Potter, DC films, Lord of the Rings. So taking a look at all those and newer Blu-rays as I get them. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is doing very, very well. Welcome back to the show. And in today's episode, as I said, I'll be taking a look at The Dark Knight, reviewing it in a new lens as I wasn't looking at it the way I look at films now. I also have a nerdy note or two, one particularly about the score of this film, specifically about the Joker theme and others. And so that's what I'll be getting into today. If you're new here, welcome. I do reviews on film and Broadway reviews as I see Broadway musicals live and on stage, and I talk about the choices that are made on stage and off stage, as well as in film, on screen and off screen, production, details, and some TV coverage as well. So if you like all of that, subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast, as I am here on YouTube as well as on all podcast platforms. Just search for the Silly, Nerdy, and Wordy Podcast and follow the show. Let's talk about The Dark Knight, as this was a 2008 film from Christopher Nolan, one of the great directors. And this was my fifth time rewatching this film, and it still holds up. I still enjoy it. It's great. And the way this film opens with the IMAX shot on the rooftop going into it, and then obviously you have the Joker theme playing very I would say kind of an underline, very somewhat low there, and then once you get to the street level with the Joker, Heath Ledger himself, it's a wide shot that then zooms in to the mask, and then the Joker theme is playing there as well. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Joker theme as well, getting way into the weeds in it on a nerdy note, but I'll save that for later. Stay tuned for that. But this film, as I remember, I still really enjoyed watching it. And for me, I want to talk about the performance, the acting performances. Well, just one acting performance, and that is the late great Heath Ledger, his performance as the Joker. I know a lot of people have talked about it already. It's out there, but this is my chance to talk about it, and this still holds up. And I want to take it at a different angle. Yes, he was really great in what he did with his performance. I want to do a little bit of a comparison to one with this is comparing, I wouldn't say, I guess, mentioning DC and Marvel in the same breath, in the sense that Thanos in Infinity War, that was a Thanos movie. That was his movie. He won in the end. And I want to liken it to this film, but not in completely that sense, because ultimately the Joker did not win in the end of this movie. This is a Batman movie, but in terms of the scenes that he was in, every time the Joker was on screen, it was just he was the guy, he was the one stealing the scenes, he was the focus. And so from that perspective, that's where I'm coming from, saying that this was a Joker movie in terms of every scene that he was in my opinion. And then another comparison I want to make is to another one of my favorite franchises is Star Wars. Specifically, I want to do a little bit of a comparison with the Joker in this movie to Luthen in Star Wars Andor. And I say that because in Andor, Luthen had multiple monologues that were great written monologues that was executed very well by Stellan Skarsgård, the actor that played Luthen. And for me, in this movie, in The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger's character also, I believe, from a perspective, have many monologues in this Dark Knight film. Now, he had scene partners in his scenes as he's doing these monologues, he's talking to them, but it's just every scene is just so good in terms of everything coming together, starting off with the writers and what they provided to him for him to execute it, and then the way Heath Ledger executed with his tone, his voice, his demeanor, his blocking, his movement, and then you add in the wardrobe department, the hair, the makeup, the look, everything coming together and just performing that in all the different scenes, whether it was in the fundraiser where he's talking to the I can't think of her name right now, but she's talking to Bruce's former girlfriend, friend, which escapes me right now. But that scene as they're talking and he's up close and personal in her face, and that scene is going on, whether it's some of the ones that were earlier with Batman in the precinct, in the interrogation room in the precinct, just with every interaction he had, it felt like there was a monologue from his perspective, and it was just engaging and just attention grabbing, just had your attention from the start to finish. Obviously, you still had the scene partners in those scenes as well, but I just really enjoyed what he did. And so, yes, I made the comparison to Thanos from a certain perspective. And yes, I made the comparison to Luthen in Star Wars Andor from a certain perspective, but that's just my perspective, and that's what just came to mind for me. And again, he is the reason, one of the big reasons this movie was such a big hit, along with all the action and the cinematographies, the explosions, the tech. Really, really enjoyed Heath Ledger's performance. It still holds up today every time I see it. It was very memorable back then and memorable watching it again for the first time in years. So great job to everyone involved, director, wardrobe, makeup, hair, writers, and everyone else. The action as well. Love what they did and all the different spots and all the work they put into it. Even flipping the truck over using I believe it was a piston they used to flip the truck over. In downtown Chicago is where they filmed a portion of this film, particularly that scene, the explosions, just really, really everything. And then there is one quick scene that I really like. It was very quick and efficient, but also it's memorable, and that's when the Joker is in the squad car and he's kind of swerving back and forth, and he's sitting on the seal of the driver's side, but also driving the car and just kind of waving his head back and forth. And then what happens is the sound is toned down, and you don't really hear too much of anything. You just see the Joker moving. It's only a couple of seconds, but it's meaningful and it's memorable. That always stood out to me, and just seeing that again, really enjoyed that particular scene as well. And right now, I want to get into the score of the film. Really great. The composer is Hans Zimmer, and I want to get into the Joker's theme. And this information that I'm getting is coming directly from this Blu-ray, and the instrument of the Joker's theme, the main instrument, it is a cello. And the cello player is Martin Tillman. Now, all he is doing is he's holding he's holding the cello and he's just moving it from left to right very slowly. I'm not a musician, but I do love music. But he's moving one hand back and forth slowly as he's playing the cello. His other hand is up here, further up on the cello, moving up and down, left and right, changing keys. And it has an edge to it. It slowly builds the tension of every scene the Joker is in. And then eventually you do get the guitars, the electric guitar that comes in with that. And it was just a great process to see how that came together between the collaboration with the director, Christopher Nolan, and Hans Zimmer, and the cello player, Christopher Tillman, and just great to see from where it started and where it ended. And then I also wanted to just look him up. And so Chris Tillman has worked on a lot of great things that a lot of us have seen, a lot of projects, mostly movies and one game. But I also want to preference this as I'm in the middle of this nerdy note here that he is featured on The Dark Knight as the cello player, but also he is listed as uncredited if you look on his IMDb page. And again, I'm getting way into the weeds here, but the reason for that is because if you are listed as uncredited, it means that he performed a smaller portion of the song or a few tracks. And so the studio is not going to place every single musician that is in a movie and put them on the end credit scene. But it doesn't mean that they didn't do the work. So they did the work, they were compensated, they were there. It's just that their contribution was small as compared to others that had more of a impact, more time on the song or on the performances. So it doesn't mean that they didn't do the work. So I just wanted to mention that if you ever look up an artist or a musician, but Martin Tillman's previous projects that he has worked on, he's worked on Gladiator 2, that was in 2024. Mulan, the live action film from 2020, Spider Man Far From Home in 2019, Spider Man Homecoming 2017, War Planet of the Apes 2017, The Equalizer 2014, Call of Duty Ghost, the video game, back in 2013, Man of Steel 2013, The Town 2010, Shrek 2001, and A Bug's Life in 1998. So he's done a lot of things that a lot of us have seen probably a couple of times, but I just wanted to give props to him in terms of his previous work, and then props to him in terms of him and the collaboration between him and Hans Zimmer with the Joker theme that is very, very memorable in this Dark Knight film that I really enjoyed. Pretty much everything, sounds, story, progression, the sound design of the bat pod, that is great as well. And the explosions and the way they came about and did all of those things. Chris Tillman is also he worked on The Dark Knight Rises as well. So they brought him back to perform on that film also. But that is all I'm going to have for this film, this nerdy rewatch of The Dark Knight, and really enjoyed it. I hope you got some value out of it. Let me know in the comments. Did you enjoy The Dark Knight back in 2008? Is it as memorable for you as it is for me? What's some of your favorite parts of The Dark Knight? Was it the Joker? Is it the sound design? Is it the Batman tech? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more as I have more nerdy rewatches coming soon. I'll be getting into Harry Potter movie number 2, The Chamber of Secrets, very soon. And I'll also be seeing The Sound of Music on stage in a few days. So very excited to see that. So I will have that review for you coming soon as well. And then possibly the Tron Ares film that's going to be in theaters coming out soon. Potentially be on the lookout for that. But subscribe for all of that. Follow the podcast on all the podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, and anywhere you get your podcasts. With that, I want to send all of you good vibes for the rest of your day. And until next time, we will talk soon.